waiting for. Please welcome the Pelbros Podcast.
Yo, it is finally the time that we've all been waiting for, James. Episode number 14 of the Pelbros Podcast, as per usual, recording live from SYD, Sydney, baby, Australia, we're representing. Me, myself, Ryan DW, and my co-host, as always.
Yo, James here, what up?
What up, Pels fan? Yo, it's a special day, right? What's happening tomorrow, James? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, excited to be back. Tomorrow is the day where the NBA starts again.
Oh, yeah,
Round of
almost
applause.
sounded like a
Round of applause.
Oh yeah. It almost sounded like a poem. You started off with an NBA. Tomorrow's the day. You know, Zion, William. I don't know.
Not that prepared, man.
It sounded like you had a little
Script,
poem
little script
ready
day.
Yeah. Nah, man, I'm keen at like. Listen, I'm trying to be advertiser friendly, but I'll say fuck once. I'm keen as fuck, bro. I'm keen as fuck, man.
Yeah, mad excited. NBA's been on pause for probably almost 3 to 4 months with this whole coronavirus situation. So glad to be back. All scrimmages have been played. Back in the Orlando bubble, ready to get games started tomorrow.
Yeah, man. And it's still, we were just talking about it a bit beforehand, right? But it's still sinking in right now. Like 3-4 months ago, I remember I was sitting right here where I am, right? And I remember talking with you. We were just trying to watch the Pelicans versus Kings game, and then we're both getting updated. Oh, nah, man, it's cancelled. And then that was obviously the very, very last game before, before the coronavirus, what do you call it? Before the NBA season was actually officially cancelled, right? And now we're starting, at least Sydney time, 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. That's pretty crazy, man. Pelicans versus Jazz.
Yeah, one more sleep for us. I think for Americans it's probably tonight or something like that. But yeah, that was the last game. Was during March. It was, so like you said, 4 months, which is absolutely crazy. But
and it's the end of July right now.
Yeah, exactly. So with one more night's sleep to go, we thought we'd just do a bit of a recap of the scrimmages that we just saw in the past 3 games for this episode, as well as previewing the next few games that we got in the next week. But quickly before we do that, just want to say check us out on Instagram.
Yeah.
At Pelbros. Find us on YouTube. I mean, we've been on a bit of a break with the YouTube content, but we'll start picking it up again soon. But definitely Instagram. Check us out there. That's where people have been hitting us up, engaging, commenting, chatting everything. New Orleans Pelicans.
Pelbros.com also for just everything else too. It just has, if you're looking for us on, I use Spotify, I use Apple. First off, we're on everything, but Pelbros.com for all your Pelicans needs. All right, but I think that's enough of plugging, right?
Yeah. Should we just get straight into the scrimmages?
Yeah, so the scrimmages, I'll be honest, I didn't really watch too much of it. James was our Pelbros official scout for the scrimmages. What's it called? Who did we verse again? First off, we versed off the third-rate Brooklyn Nets, right? And then secondly was what was it?
The Nuggets.
Oh, sorry, the Denver Nuggets, obviously. And then the very last one was actually quite hype, Milwaukee Bucks. So I myself, I'll tell you, like, honestly, I watched like the littlest bit of the Brooklyn Nets game because I was just like, dude, why do I care, right? And then the Denver Nuggets, I actually watched the first half, but then the second half I was a bit half asleep. The Bucks, I just totally missed out on the. But James, you watched all 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, figured I'd be the correspondence for the Pelbros this time around.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up catching all scrimmages. I was pretty hyped getting into it. But yeah, let's just kick it off with the first game against the Brooklyn Nets. Like you said, Pelicans took that easy dub, 99-68.
Easy money.
And like you said, it was a third string Nets, and you're not even lying. Honestly, some of these guys I didn't even recognize, didn't even know their name. And and I'm going to be honest, the broadcast and the commentary, they weren't too focused on the game itself. They were just they're just calling and just talking about what's happening in the league, talking about NBA news. So you hardly even pick up the names of these guys. But anyways, like I said, easy dub. It was a entertaining game to say the least. It was pretty bad on offense through a couple of stretches where both teams were just struggling, especially the Nets. But this game, it really showed that our starters didn't look like they had missed a beat. So BI came out looking strong. Drew, Zoe looked like they were just doing their thing. And really, it was all about the bench. So giving guys like Nickel, Alexander Walker, Frank Jackson, Jackson Hayes. Keeps trying to say his Instagram name.
Sideshow.
Etwan Moore, those guys. Kenrich, shout out to Kenrich, giving those guys minutes so that they can kind of gel, find their fit, find their role in the team, and just giving them more minutes that they're not going to see down in the actual game. So I think from this game, for myself, Frank impressed me. Jalil had a few great touches as well. But overall, it was just again, third string nets.
So it's like nothing to celebrate about.
Nothing to celebrate. There's not much competition. Look, they put up 68 points. That's pretty. That's pretty bad.
One off of the lucky number. I was gonna say the last because you mentioned K-Rich, right? Kenny Hassel. Last episode we actually did mention a bit about Kenny Hassel and his role in the team now that he's back and everything like that. We actually put up on our Instagram to our followers, our dedicated followers. We asked you guys what you guys think about Kenny Hassel, if he should get some minutes or if he should, stay on the bench. And it was a huge, overwhelming majority. I think maybe let's say 80 to 90%, if not more, people saying, yo, keep that motherfucker on the bench. People do not care that Kenny Hassel is back, really, it seems. If anything, it just seems me and James are the real ones that are concerned for his well-being.
Damn, I didn't know that many people hated him. I
guess maybe not people that hate him, but more so they just don't care, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was well. I mean, he's probably well loved, but they probably understand that his role's on the bench.
Yeah, but I think that's enough for the first game, right? It leads us to the next game versus Denver Nuggets. So I caught a bit of that. My only kind of thing that I can really say about that was it was really great for me to see Nickel actually get back into rhythm. Because I think you told me too in the first game he wasn't really that great. He was missing his shots or whatever. And the thing is that in the preseason, right, before this even the entire season began, he was killing it. Nickel was just an absolute beast, right? But then, and seeing him play, you're just like, yo, this guy's crazy. Is Lonzo gonna have to sit on the bench for this guy, right? But then obviously the season actually started, and a lot of those kind of the man's always confident, right? But a lot of those kind of shots that he was trying to take, like Steph Curry or something like that, in game time situations, they were just missing. So he had a huge, he had a lot of games in which he was having huge, dry streaks, maybe 0 for 7 from 3 or something like that. He had a lot of those kind of games, and because of that, obviously he had less minutes throughout the season, but seeing him do some just crazy plays, in that Denver game specifically, I think I saw him maybe Euro step, and then I think there was obviously that lob to Frank Jackson and stuff. Just seeing Nickel actually shine, not only being confident but actually getting buckets. That for me, I was just like, yo, that's my boy. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, this really felt like a confidence game for Nickel. As you mentioned, he didn't play too well in the game before that, although he was the top scorer for the Pels. He just didn't look like he kind of knew what he was doing. He looked a bit rusty out there. Took a lot of shots, didn't really have control over his passing and ball handling. But man, this was a huge confidence boost. And against the Nuggets, this is not the third string Nets. The Nuggets played a bunch of their starters, but they also had a few guys out. So Jamal Murray, MPJ, Gary Harris were out, but they still had guys like Jokic. They were playing their 7-foot plus lineup with Bol at small forward.
The new big hype man, right?
Exactly. So it's not like this was a joke of a team. And it was actually a really impressive performance by the whole bench. So B.I., Josh Hart actually sat out this game because they had dental procedures apparently. Didn't even know that they could do that in the bubble. But this just gave an opportunity for all the bench to take over and take up a lot of their minutes. So I was hugely impressed by Nickel, like you mentioned. Frank Jackson was also huge as well. Big shout out to Zylan Cheatham. I haven't seen him play much at all, but man, that guy hustles. He kind of gives me kind of Kenrich vibes, where he just plays hard. He plays bigger than he is, bigger than his height. And he just hustles hard, leaves it all out on the court. I hope to actually see a bit more of him. I mean, we probably won't see it throughout the actual games. So he's still really raw, still quite young. But man, hopefully in the next preseason or in future scrimmage games, we can definitely see more of him. And then we also got to see a bit of Sindarius Thornwell, the new guy that we signed. And he played reasonably well as well. He got some
Cine D, that's the new nickname.
Got some points, got some great assists. He topped the assists with 7 assists for the Pelicans. 12 points, 3 rebounds. Pretty impressive for only 20 minutes. So definitely shout out to him. But yeah, overall great game that we took out the Nuggets. I just got to say one thing is, unfortunately, it didn't look like the Pelicans had a broadcast, so I had to suffer through the Nuggets broadcast.
Oh
And
yeah,
oh
I
my
remember.
god, such terrible commentary. The whole game was just talking about Bol, even when he was on the
Bol,
bench,
yeah,
just jerking him off. Man,
yeah.
I just muted it out after like I think the second quarter or even half. I just muted it. It was terrible.
Yeah, man, that was actually disgusting. I remember, like, yeah, the thing is, yeah, because Bobo, they put him on, in this Orlando bubble in the first game, and then he, went hype man, got a bunch of blocks, etc., etc. Everyone, the thing, I mean, I've known about Bobo, right, since he got drafted and everything like that, but now it's like everyone's like full, like, oh my god, yeah, Bobo. Like, if anything, it's just blown up out of proportion. It almost seems like it's a meme. Are people actually serious about it? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like, are you seeing that stuff on Insta too? Like, all these people being like, every comment, not every post now, I'm seeing at least one person saying like, "Oh, Ball's better" or something, some shit like that.
yeah, for sure. He's just kind of the new guy to hype up, and all the media talking about him. And like you said, we've all known about him since he got drafted. We all knew he was tall. I just think no one knew, like no one had really seen him on the court playing properly yet.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
yeah, but it's just really annoying how much they kind of talking about him and not talking about the game whatsoever.
Yeah, but if anything, it's more better for us because I think Bobo was also trying to talk it up like, "Oh, Pelicans, we could take them, da da da," and then yo, what's good, baby? Like, yo, took that dub right off you, So this man's got like an ego boost and everything like that. But if anything, seems that we humbled the kind sir, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then
Yeah.
moving. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on. As in, I was gonna say it, but yeah, moving on to the last game, obviously, which is versus Milwaukee Bucks. So before I let you take the reins for this, I just want to say the hype for this is that basically during the preseason, right, and then during like what was it, the preseason and summer league, right? I think both Milwaukee Bucks and us, we were the only people that went completely undefeated, right? Including like completely undefeated for that, and plus the two Orlando bubble scrimmages already, right? So it was undefeated versus undefeated in games that don't count, right? More or less, us versus the Bucks, right? And obviously the Bucks are I think the first seed in the East, right? A lot of people are thinking they may be the people that come out of the East. And so if anything, you could say, although this was a game of quote unquote nothing, there was a little something because of the fact that whoever takes the dub is the official undisputed, undefeated like king of games that don't matter, right? So it seems that it seems that we did
that title.
Yeah. Especially from the Bucks too, right? Because they were the only ones that had remained undefeated apart from us. So what happened? It seems that we we rocked up and we totally killed it. I'll let you take the reins on that. Sorry. I'm getting too excited here. Let me. I just thought of something. It's like we'll send it back to our live correspondent on the floor, James.
The New Orleans Pelicans defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 124. But yeah, it was a great win to cap it off 3-0 in the scrimmages, 124 to 103.
Easy money.
Again, we won't get too excited because it was just a scrimmage, but I was quite impressed from this victory. Basically, because we were actually trailing for most of the game, so we were down 10 to 15 games for the first three quarters. We just didn't seem to have what it took on defense. We were just struggling to stop Giannis. He put up 30 points like he always would. But there was just a slow and steady comeback of just playing good team defense and just smart offense. And especially what impressed me was after we took out our starters, because we were only giving them, I think it was 20 minutes, maybe even less than that. And the bench came on. It was actually the bench that helped keep that comeback going and then also push us into a lead and hold that lead. So guys like, again, Jackson Hayes, Nickel, Frank, all those guys just really chipping in, playing hard and just really stepping up against even starters. So I know throughout the fourth quarter and I think sometime in the third quarter, they actually put on all the Milwaukee starters. So they put on Giannis, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez. And I kind of thought, oh, here we go. Bucks are going to make a comeback. But man,
Tryhards.
The bench definitely held their own and just massive props to, how could I forget? Got to shout out JJ Redick.
Yeah, I was going to, yeah.
So this guy was, I think, 0 from 5 for the first two quarters. It was so frustrating watching him play because he just kept chucking up really bad threes. Just, I guess, trying to find his rhythm. He struggled in the first two games. But man, that third quarter, he just turned up, scored 20 points in the third quarter. I think it was something like 17 straight.
Ooh.
of just 3-pointers, 4-point plays. It got
Yeah.
to a point where they were fouling him on purpose just to get him to shoot free throws because he was running all over the place, going across screens. They just had to foul him because they couldn't stop him. So massive shout out to JJ. He definitely led the charge, but he actually sat for most of the fourth quarter, and it was actually all the bench that kind of held that lead. Anything else you want to say about this game?
No, all that. Only thing I want to mention is obviously this is keep into consideration. This is also happening all 3 games without Zion. So there's that, right?
Yeah, 100%. That we're down on our second best player, so good to
true.
good to know that
Number
we
one
don't
is
really
still playing.
need Zion, but he would definitely just add that extra punch, and we kind of saw that at the start of the season where as soon as we got Favors back, we started to find that rhythm a bit, and then with bringing in Zion, that gave us that extra punch on offense, and it kind of led to that better record that we had towards the back half of the season.
Yeah, speaking about Zion, it seems that last episode we had a bit of conflicting information in terms of his return because obviously he had that family emergency to attend to, so he had to quarantine himself when he returned to the bubble. But obviously, I think it seems that from what I've heard that he will actually be potentially. I'm pretty sure that it's going to happen. He's going to be playing in tomorrow's game versus Utah in terms of the fact, that like he's a quote unquote game time decision, like to be played. But I'm pretty sure the man's going to play, right?
Yeah, I'm the same boat. I'm confident he will play. I think this is just a bit of strategy and not kind of playing your hand. Of course, they're going to kind of
true.
label him as a maybe. Give the Jazz an extra thing to think about when it comes to their matchups and their defensive schemes. But I'm confident he'll play. I don't think he'll get his full minutes. I'm predicting around 20 minutes to 25.
He didn't play any scrimmages, so fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't expect his conditioning to be 100%, and I think they'll just be extra cautious. Yeah, I don't expect his minutes to blow out too much.
Yeah, and saying that too, we did beat the Utah Jazz without him, like, I think 1 or 2 times anyway, especially that clutch BI game where BI just went off 49, career high. But yes, let's talk a bit about these Utah Jazz folks that we're going to be versing. So, what do you think? You reckon we can take this stub?
Yeah, look, I'm feeling optimistic and I'm feeling confident. Again, it's easy to say that we should take the scrimmage games with a grain of salt, but I really like what we're producing, and this team looks confident. They look ready. I think they've shaken off a lot of their rust. I have to be honest, I haven't caught a Jazz game from the scrimmages, so I don't actually know what they look like in terms of their chemistry, in terms of how they look when they're back from the break. But we do know that how do I say his name? I think it's Bojan Bogdanovic.
Bogdanovic.
We know he's out for the rest of the season, and I think that's a good thing because he's had a few huge games against us that will kind of hurt their offensive power. But I'm really hoping, I think the keys to this game for us is definitely involving Derek Favors. We saw how important he was in the previous game, one of the previous games versus the Jazz, where he put up a pretty monster stat line. Obviously, BI had that game and kind of overshadowed him, but Favors was the number 2 guy in that game. And then secondly, just making sure that defensively we're up to scratch. They're stopping Donovan Mitchell. We know that Bogdanovic is out. They're going to look for other ways through maybe Ingles, through Donovan a bit more. I think Donovan also put up 46 points in the previous game where we beat them, and but his performance kind of got overshadowed by obviously BI and us taking the win. But I think those are the 2 keys. So just defensively, and then making sure we involve Derek Favors.
I was gonna say too with that, man. If anything, I feel as if these guys that are playing for us now in the roster, right? I feel as if they also now feel that kind of that beef we already have with Utah Jazz, right? I think it's long before this, like this season too.
Yeah, we know that there were some quote unquote shady, dodgy, questionable calls from the referees. I think there will be a bit of a chip on the shoulder. So throughout this season, we've actually lost them twice already.
Yeah.
And then beaten them once. So this is the last matchup. We'll just be hoping to go 2-2 for the season. This will be quite an important game for us to kind of chase that seed, chase that 8th seed. So I think we'll touch on it later with the Grizzlies later. But I think while most Pels fans are quite optimistic, we do have to note that we are 4 games behind the Grizzlies. So I think that will be huge. That we make sure that we compete in these games.
Yeah, I was gonna say about that. Because you're saying like we could go 2 for 2. in terms of the season series versus Utah Jazz. However, that's with a huge asterisk because one of the questionable calls was obviously for one of the games in which we quote unquote lost, but there should have been a call given, right? But it wasn't given. So because of that, Utah Jazz ultimately won the game, which is BS. And that's one of many calls in which it's BS when we versus Utah Jazz. But apart from that, I wanted to mention, because although neither of us actually watched the scrimmages, right? When it comes to Utah Jazz, or anyone else, to be honest, apart from the Pels, I got, because it's impossible to get. We were just talking about how impossible it is to even get any kind of intel on how the scrimmage games actually went for some reason. I don't know, maybe some big conspiracy, big pharmaceuticals in behind it or something like that. But for some reason, it's impossible to find actual proper good stats on this, right? Regardless of that, I wanted to mention the fact that how Utah actually went in the scrimmages, right? Orlando scrimmages, because obviously we went undefeated as per usual. Utah, their first one was versus Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns killed them 101-88, right? Then after that, they versed Miami Heat. They won that 101-99. So they just scabbed that. And then finally, obviously, they versed Brooklyn Nets. So, coming over to our sloppy seconds, obviously, because we gave Brooklyn Nets a whooping, right? And now it's like, oh yeah, you can have her now, bro. I'm cool with her, bro. Me and her, we don't really see, we don't really talk anymore. You can do what you want. And basically, yeah, they beat Brooklyn Nets, obviously 112-107. So keep in mind, we kept Brooklyn Nets to 68, right? These guys got 107, so it was a much more closer game, it seems. If anything, I did see someone mentioning that the Nets actually nearly came back to defeat the Jazz in this final scrimmage, but I think that got held out. But obviously, like I said, it's impossible to get any more information in that, and I'm not going to waste my time and, actually, I don't know, like watch the full replay or something like that, because I've got better things to do in my life, like making motherfucking money. Anyways, apart from that, that's not the point. The point is that, obviously, we completely destroyed, we took the soul of Brooklyn Nets, right, in the scrimmage. However, Utah Jazz, it seems, is that they only just kind of won, and they were just struggling to kind of hold their position, it seems. So if anything, I think that's good in terms of talking about that too. If anything, it's good for us that we just beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and it wasn't just like an easy game. It was actually like you said, a kind of come from behind, no homo kind of a game, right? So if anything, I feel as if momentum is definitely on our side, if that makes sense. So I feel as if coming into this game, taking into consideration everything this entire season so far, in terms of the entire series that we've had with Utah beforehand, and then taking into consideration that they're missing a big piece of Bogdanovic, right? And then there's us, obviously Zion is quote unquote game time, but we all know he's coming on, and then we have that chip on our shoulders in which we really want to beat Utah Jazz. And on top of that, we actually need this dub because, like you said, we're 4 games behind the 8th seed, so we actually need every single dub. So there's that, and on top of that we've got the momentum of being completely undefeated in games that do not count. I feel as if we can win this. I'm gonna make a estimate. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a close game still. I'd say we're gonna beat them within a 5-point range. How about that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it'll be a win for us, but I think it will still be very close.
Yeah. So I guess and we need that dub. So that's 1 of 3, right, of the games next week. What's up next? Or any other thoughts?
Nah, just leave it at that. The next game for us would be against the Clippers. So again, we've actually got another tough matchup coming up. I think the one positive takeaway for myself is that I think it's actually better that we put the harder games at the start of this 8-game run, especially with us going in with the momentum. I think that would be better just get it out of the way, play up against some of the best teams in the comp and the higher seeded teams, and then we hopefully breeze through the rest of the competition. But the next game after that will be the Clippers. I think that's on the 2nd of August or potentially 3rd for us in Sydney.
Yeah.
There's a few key takeaways out of this game, or a few key matchup takeaways, is that the Clippers will be missing Lou Will, obviously with his quarantine after hit up the strip club.
Yeah, boy, and some wings.
Montrez, I'm not sure exactly what his story is. I think it's an injury. It's a day-to-day injury. And then as well as Patrick Beverley. So those two guys, all 3 guys that are missing. These guys actually, the 2 of the 3 of them come off the bench. So you'd think that it wouldn't have much of an impact. But these guys are actually huge to the team. So, they're both 18-point scorers, so you're already missing. Lou Will and Harrell are both 18 points per game scorers, so you're missing 36 right there. So it'll be up to Kawhi Leonard, Paul George to obviously take a bigger step up. But I mean, for myself, I wasn't feeling too confident about this game before, but I think we actually have a pretty decent chance.
It's true.
I think those three guys being out actually mean quite a lot to the team. And I just want to make a quick note before I throw it over to you. My key takeaway for this game and how we can win is, ironically, I think we need to involve Derek Favors again, like I said in the Jazz game. And the reason why is in the past 3 games we've had for this season, Derek's actually put up 20 points or more against the Clippers 3 times already.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how important he is when it comes to these games, just because the Clippers are a lot smaller lineup. Their biggest center is probably Zubac or even Montrez himself. And with him being out, they're going to be playing small ball all game. So I think this is a big opportunity for Derek Favors to just take advantage. But overall, I'm feeling pretty confident. If we can keep Kawhi Leonard somewhat in check, I think that will be the biggest struggle for us. I think it will have to be Drew, Kenrich probably playing some defense on him.
Yeah, if he gets minutes.
If we can keep him somewhat in check, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's that. And also, I'm not too sure we've versed the Clippers with Zion, have we?
Got to have a look through that. I think you might be right.
Yeah, shit. So I think that could be a huge game changer too, because Zion is a quote unquote big man too, right? So that could be a real big game changer. Obviously, taking into consideration Clippers does that. Although they don't have Montrez, they don't have Lou Will, they don't have Pat Bev. They do still have Kawhi and PG. So I mean, that is a big hurdle to kind of overcome, right? But I feel as if, yeah, definitely you're right on the money there in the fact that Lou Will and Montrez, especially, those guys have I mean, you could say Pat Bev too. Let's say Pat Bev too, but especially those 2 guys there, right? They have a huge impact, I think, especially versus us, because I feel as if in the last game that we versed the Clippers, in which we lost, I remember because I had money on it, Lou Will just went off. Lou Will just, was not forgiving. He was like, nah. Like, he wouldn't get us hot. We were trying to make a comeback at the end, but I remember Lou Will was just like not having it. And so that's the thing. There is no Lou Will, because luckily for us, the man, needed to go to the strip club and eat some wings. So that's good for us. Obviously, like I've said in the last episode, it doesn't really affect Clippers if they lose this game, right? Because they can burn this game. They're still going to make the playoffs, right? Lou Will, Montrez, etc., etc. The main boys are still going to be there for when it counts in the postseason. So if anything, I'm kind of almost saying to the Clippers, come on, for the boys, just give us a dub. Like, you guys don't even really need it. Like, just give us the dub. I feel as if Jazz is like 100%. Like, we're probably going to get that. It'll be a bit of a bitch to get it, but we'll get that. Clippers, though, it's kind of like you said, like, we've beaten them before, right?
Yeah, we've beaten them once, but they were missing Kawhi, and I think they might have been missing PG as well. So that's pretty big.
I think PG was on. I don't think it was no Kawhi.
PG was
there.
I just had one look. PG was there, but Kawhi was out.
Yeah, but that's cool, because at the same time too, there's that. But at the same time, each time we've matched up with them, we didn't have Zion, and that's a big piece. And like I said, we're going in with this momentum, especially if we can just crush the Jazz. That would be a huge momentum boost, because it's not a back-to-back. I think we got a day in between, so that's pretty good. Like after the Jazz game too, so we got a bit of rest. So I feel as if we can win this, but at the same time, if we were to lose any of the 8 games that we got coming up, it would be this game, right? But I gotta make a call though. What do you think? Do you think we will win this? Like, let's make a call right now. Do you think we will win this?
I think I already said in one of our previous episodes. I mean, I just said just then I feel optimistic and I feel pretty good. But if I'm going to use my brain, my unbiased point of view, being objective, unlike half of the Instagram pages out there.
Call out.
I think this is the game we'll drop. So out of the 8 games, I think we were saying 6-2 or 7-1. I think this would be one of the games we drop. Just looking at Kawhi's past 2 games against us, he's put up 39. I think he put up 36 in another game. Yeah. What more can I say? It's Kawhi. Yeah. We struggle against small forwards like Kawhi. LeBron James is another one. So I'm not gonna expect anything different.
Yeah, I reckon we will go like 7-1 rather than 6-2, because the 6-2 thing was before considering that LaMarcus Aldridge and the Spurs were still quite healthy, right? But that ain't happening now. The Spurs are going to get shat on by us. So I think overall we'll go 7-1. But I don't want to spoil it for next week. But the thing is that, yeah, if there's a one game that we're going to lose, it wouldn't be the Jazz. It would be this one right here versus the Clippers. I think it'd still be a close game, but I think we'd lose it by, let's say, I'd say we'd probably lose it the same way I said for the Jazz. I'd say we lose to the Clippers by under 5 points, I reckon.
Yeah,
but
I would agree with that.
But everyone will have a really good game. It's just that I think Kawhi and PG are maybe just trying to, start getting it clicking because it's almost wake up time. It's also almost time for the playoffs. So if they were wanting to practice, why wouldn't they, practice with us? We're a bit of like a punching bag.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think there's no more dicking around for them.
Yeah. For lack of better word, but yeah. So I reckon Clippers will probably take the loss there, but it's cool. It'll still be a very, very good game to watch. And if anything, it won't kill our momentum. It's not going to kill the morale or anything like that because everyone is going to have a great game. People are going to step up. DFA is 100% going to have a great game. Probably, I'd like to see BI have a good game. If anyone, what's it called? Yeah, like I said, Zion I think he's going to go off. But I think if anyone's going to be the X factor of this game, it could be Lonzo. If Lonzo is somehow going to go like God mode on us, we could take the dub.
Yeah, 100%. And then any last comments? Otherwise, we can move on to the final game for this episode.
No, all I want to say is, Kawhi's a fun guy. I love Kawhi, but continue.
Yeah, so our last matchup will be against our second arch nemesis, the Memphis Grizzlies. So this will be on the 4th of August for Americans, so on the 5th for us Sydney-siders.
I think you got to flip around. I think it's 4th of August for us, and then 3rd of August for Americans.
True. Sorry, yeah. ESPN's already checked my time
translated it to us. Yeah, exactly.
My time zone. So
Google's tracking you, bro. The man's watching you.
Yeah, so this is going to be our third matchup and last matchup for the year, I think it is. And man, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. I don't know what else to say.
Money.
We've beaten them twice this season already.
Without Zion too, right? Or there's one time with Zion, or what was that?
I got to double check that. I think it was one time with him, but yeah, he scored 24 in the last game where we beat them by 28 points. So I mean, yeah, what more can I say? I just personally feel like we kind of have their number.
It's easy money, son. It's easy money.
We're a good matchup for them. I think we're just a bit more of a complete team.
Yeah.
Than the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, Ja Morant is a bit of an X factor. It doesn't seem like their team has too many people out. There's just Tyus Jones, but I think he's been out for some time already.
Dylan Brooks also out, or
I don't think so. I think he played in the scrimmages. So
okay, yeah. I
think he'll be playing. I mean, they've shown up in the scrimmages as well. I think they beat both Houston and the Miami Heat. But let's take scrimmages with a grain of salt. But they'll be going in with a bit of momentum as well. But I just feel a lot more confident. They've got this tougher strength of schedule. Like I said, I think we're just a bit more complete as a team. I don't see how they would stop Zion. I think BI's had a few games where he hasn't really, been 49-point BI. I think he's kind of struggled a bit, but that's just a confidence thing. He'll come in looking hot, looking to kill, and looking to just ice this game and just be away with the Memphis Grizzlies. Any thoughts from yourself?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, leading up to this game, obviously we've got like our toughest games before this, so it's gonna be a bit of a bit of a war to crawl our way to this game, in which obviously we've got the Jazz first and then Clippers and then finally Grizzlies. Easy money. But they themselves, before they verse us, they've got our game versus the Blazers, right? So obviously the Blazers, I think they're getting pumped during the scrimmages, but that's not going to be an easy game because this is obviously competing for the AFC, right, for these guys. And then after that, it's versus Grizzlies. I think that's versus Spurs, and I think that Spurs game might be a bit more, I guess, forgiving for them. Oh, but they've actually got a back-to-back because right after that, because that's on the day right before they verse us. So if anything, we've kind of got the advantage because they've got a back-to-back before they verse us. So that could actually be a big factor too. I mean, the thing is that all that doesn't even really matter because we're going to beat them anyway. So all I can say is that, bro, like, that's the difference with like Utah, right, and like the Grizzlies. Okay, who would you say is like an arch nemesis? Are you trying to say Utah's an arch nemesis or?
No, I'm saying
Houston?
Portland. I'm saying
Oh,
Portland's
okay, yeah, true.
like in the grand scheme of things, maybe in these next 8 games, because we've already played Portland all the times.
Yeah,
I'd say in this 8 game stretch, I know that we're confident we're winning, but this game against Grizzlies is a must win, and that's
Yeah.
obviously because of the record. So definitely for this 8 games, arch nemesis would be Grizzlies, but in the grand scheme, Portland for sure.
yeah, because I was gonna say, yeah, Portland, yeah, we make jokes every day about Dame being son of Drew, etc., etc., right? And obviously we swept these guys, so like we have every right to say whatever we want, right? More of that on Pelbros on Instagram if you're wondering. Anyways, is that the point is that what I wanted to say with Grizzlies though, it's a bit different. It's a bit of a different kind of not hate, but it's a different kind of you respect. It's kind of like you respect your fellow soldier. You know what I mean? Like, oh, because like the thing is, what I'm trying to say here, right? What I'm trying to vocalize is the fact that me and James, I think everyone really has the most love for Ja Morant. You know what I mean? Like Ja Morant is a fucking G. I've said it 100 times in this podcast. Ja Morant is a G, right? It's just the fact that it's just unfortunate that the man was drafted to the Grizzlies, and and it's unfortunate that he was drafted in the same draft versus Zion. So obviously, the media's gonna blow up that entire. Oh my god, who's gonna rookie of the year? Oh my god, Zion should get it. No, John Morant. They're gonna be G'ing up that. They're gonna be milking up that storyline for days, right? Because all you guys are gonna eat that shit up because you guys are freaking dumb sheep. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that don't think about any of that, right? Like, although there's that entire quote unquote Grizzlies are our arch nemesis or whatnot, we got the most love for Ja Morant. So like I was trying to say, it's not like. So what I'm trying to say is like, yo, we're gonna take this dub, we're gonna beat your ass, but know that I got love and respect for you. that's all I want to say. Like it's kind of like okay, like I'm taking your daughter out for a date, but I'm gonna give her a fucking good time, if you know what I mean. But I'll drop her. But
That's a terrible analogy.
But I'll drop her off before 11 p.m. Sir. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
Finish
The end part.
Finish it off well.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no,
yeah,
I think what you said, respect, and I think that echoes exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah, respect is the word I'm looking for. Respect is the word I'm looking for.
I don't think there's any bad blood between either teams, even amongst the players. Whereas, with the other teams, kind of like Portland and with Jazz, there'd be that kind of chip on the shoulder. I don't feel like there's a chip on the shoulder versus Memphis. It's just all respect, and it's just all about competing. And I think the best part is that Ja Morant's the kind of player that would respect that. He's all about competing. He's all about putting everything on the floor. So he knows when it comes to like us beating him, that's all I respect. That's all out of love. That's all out of we're coming for that 8 seed,
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, although we're confident we're going to win, this is the must-win game. Just because we need to catch them on that 32 wins. We're at 28. If we beat them, then we're just going to get one game closer. We're going to bring that game differential down. But overall, I feel confident. I don't think there's much more to say.
Okay, so in terms of the score, the end score, so obviously it's a dub for both ends, but I don't think it would be like a huge 28-point freaking lead, right? I'm going to say we win within, let's say, 12.
Yeah, I was literally going to say 10 to 15.
Oh, I was going to say 10 to 15, and then I just put it down to 12, so there you go.
Yeah, I still think it'll be a competitive game, but I think 10 to 15 is a comfortable win for us.
We're just going to break away. And yeah, last thing I want to talk about with Ja Morant is, because you said, Grizzlies maybe not so much of a complete team as opposed to us, which is true, right? The thing is that, because this is obviously Ja Morant's rookie season, right? You can't expect so much from this guy, right? So I feel as if only at this point we can kind of like get away with these easy dubs, quote unquote easy dubs, but in the later seasons and shit, I think as, Ja Morant and obviously, what's his face?
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah. They grow together as a duo, and then they become more complete players, etc. It's going to be a much more difficult task. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna actually have to like fight for it, like really fight for it. I mean, not saying that it isn't happening now, but it's going to be a really much more competitive game, I guess. Like as in, how we're so confident with it because we're pretty much going to sweep these guys. In a later time, it'll be a different story. It'll be like, oh shit, I don't know. Who knows, here and there. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to say. The main thing is the respect for Ja Morant. Just want to keep conveying that because I don't want like a little snippet being leaked and Ja Morant like, yo, who the fuck this Ryan DW talking shit, huh? come to kill my family and shit. Like, I'm good, baby. I'm good. Like, I got enough problems as it is.
Yeah, it's alright. We follow him on Instagram and the Memphis Grizzlies, so all love,
Yeah,
all
true.
respect.
We always liking that shit. Like, yeah, Ja, he's a G. All right, so then I guess that pretty much sums it up then, right? We are thinking we're gonna go 2-for-1 this next week, right?
Yeah, so a dub against the Jazz, loss against the Clippers, our toughest matchup, and then the sweep to cap off just the first week, and the first 3 games, 2-1.
Yeah, that's easy money. Anything else to discuss, or are we out here?
I think we can just say, thanks for listening, but stay tuned for the episode after this, episode 15, where we'll be just touching on the games after these 3 games. So we'll be looking at the Kings, easy win, the Wizards and the Spurs, potentially even the last 2 games against the Kings and the Magic again, because it's only 5 games. So
yeah, I was thinking we were gonna do it all together, and spoiler alert, they're all pretty much easy dubs.
Yeah, gonna be a lot of W's. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's easy money. All right, yeah. So as always, if you guys enjoy this shit, that is great to hear. Hit up pelbros.com. I'd recommend, because it has everything on there. But if you'd like, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. YouTube is a big thing because we have YouTube exclusive content there too. Pelbros, Pelbros. And last but not least, obviously there is the most famous of them all. What's the place we should tell them to go to?
At Pelbros on Instagram.
Hell yeah. That's that chemistry. I was chucking the alley-oop and he knew what was going on. Bang, 360 dunk.
Yeah,
Pelbros
imagine if I named
Instagram.
some other platform.
Yeah, like Pornhub or something. Like Dame gets drilled. No. I shouldn't. Let's keep this PG-13. Let's keep this advertiser friendly. Last thing I'll plug too is pelbrospodcast@gmail.com, or leave a comment down below if if you're on YouTube or whatever. Hit us up, give us some feedback. We're always up for the feedback. Send us DMs on the Instagram too. If you're a female, what's up, girl?
If you're a sponsor, if you're a sponsor,
if you're a sponsor,
hit us up.
What's up?
Sure.
Hit us up. Yeah, that's the real what's up, right? All right. But I think that pretty much sums it up. So thank you again for another wholesome episode with the Pelbros, right?
Yep, Pelbros out.